We had a nice house. We had a 12-room house. 4 rooms we occupied, and the rest was rented out. And from these 4 rooms, we had to accommodate a family from Plotsk. There was a mother, a son, and 2 daughters. A family from Lodz. There was a mother and a father and 2 boys. The store that we had before, there was no business going on. We gave to a tailor, was a friend of mine, who lived outside of the confines of the ghetto. And there we lived all together. We had to share all what we had, in clothing, and the food, and the medicines, whatever. It was very crowded. And epidemics used to break out because of the sanitary conditions. In the wintertime, we couldn't buy coal to heat the houses. Food was not available except if you smuggled it in. Luckily, we had these factories where the Poles worked. And during the war, during the German occupation, these factories were renamed the Hermann Göring Worker, and Jews were allowed, as they were welcomed, to work there. So we heard rumors that in other cities, in other towns, they were rounding up Jews, they were taking them away, and they didn't know where to. First, they took the able-bodied people, like soldier ages, between 18 and 40. They used to take them away to work, hard labor. And then they used to take away men, women, and children, evacuate towns and cities to places unknown. And we could see that the people who came to our town from somewhere else, they were what you call refugees. And it was not good to be a refugee. They were starving because we didn't have enough to share with them. They were sick, we had no medicines, we had doctors, but we had no medicines. So my father decided that we should make ourselves useful to the Germans, and thereby, in case of an expulsion taking place, we will be useful to them and they will not expel us. So he got a job at these ammunition factories. It was quite easy for him to get a job because he knew most of the officials, the meisters, the foremen, the administrators, the engineers in the factory. And he also got a permit for my mother, a permit for my sister, my brother too. And I was then about, I don't remember if I had bar mitzvah or not. I was just about bar mitzvah age. So he got also a permit for me to work there, saying instead of I was 14 years of age, I was 16 years of age. Therefore, I was able to get a work permit. And we worked in these ammunition factories. And when we worked there, it wasn't so much for the pay, it's for the security to know when expulsion is taking place, we will be spared. Also, we got rations. We got coupons. There was a store called the Consum. We used to get bread. We used to get potatoes. We used to get a pair of shoes every year, and so on. So it was very beneficial to work there. And of course, we had Shmulek, my younger brother. What are we going to do with him? So we had Polish friends. I mean, we had Catholic friends, lots of them. So we arranged for Mrs. Glina, who lived down the street, and we said to her, you know what is taking place. They could see that he should, in case something happens, we will be spared expulsion, because after all, we have German permits to work, and we are working in ammunition, which was vital to the German war effort. And they will take care of my brother. So we parted with a lot of our household goods, possessions, money, whatever we could, for them to keep my younger brother with them. And that's how it was. But you know, the worse we were treated, the more we believed the rumors that what was happening in other places. And we were put on a train, my father and I and my brother together. with the other people. Standing room only, was a freight train. The windows were about this wide, about this long, four of them. I had a little hatchet with me with a knife. I don't know what I was going to do with it, but I took it. And they put us on a train and off we went. It was so hot on the train. We couldn't breathe. There was no food. We were constantly hungry before. Being hungry we were kind of used to, but the worst thing was there was no water, no toilet facilities. And the end of the journey was we didn't know where we were going. And until today, I don't know how long we traveled on that train. One day, very early in the morning, they opened the doors and they ordered us out. And we went down. Some people were standing, they were there. We didn't know. It was so crowded, just standing like sardines like this. We left a heap of people in the wagon. We had no luggage, of course. We had nothing except what we were wearing. And in front of us, 4 huge chimneys, with electrified barbed wire, and the people looked funny in their pajamas like uniforms. And this was Auschwitz. We never heard of Auschwitz. We must have been maybe 80 kilometers away, maybe 100 kilometers away. We never heard of it. And there, I remember, we went off the train. They marched us towards these chimneys. And I think, till today, the thought was, the sooner they'll do away with us, the sooner we will start suffering. And when we saw these chimneys, we could see and believe the rumors that we heard of what they were doing. And when we got to Auschwitz, we were not ordinary people. The weak ones amongst us died. The sick ones died. We were able-bodied, experienced ammunition workers. And this is what saved us when we got to Auschwitz. There were no selections when we arrived. Our transport arrived at Auschwitz. There were no selections. We didn't know what selection was. They marched us in a direction towards the chimneys. They made us undress. They cut our hair, disinfected us, gave us these same uniforms, these striped uniforms, and we walked up and they assigned a barrack for us in that camp. Auschwitz was a huge conglomerate of camps. It was a 40 square kilometer area where there were camps inside camps inside camps. The civilian population was evacuated, so if you ran away, you had a long way to run before you reached any place of safety. We were assigned a camp called the Gypsy Camp. So there are photographs of gypsies there. I don't know if you see it or not, but you can see, I don't know if you can, but I can say they are gypsies. When you go out, have a look at it. And they were German-speaking gypsies. One side of the camp, and they were gypsies. And the other side of the camp, we were assigned this other side of the camp. We were marched in there. We were tattooed a number of our arms. And curfew time came in the afternoon. Although they gave us rations already, which was quite welcome after not having eaten, God knows. I don't remember how long we traveled on that train. 3 days, 4 days, maybe 2 days, I don't remember. It seemed like an eternity. At night, there was curfew. They put us in the barracks, they closed the gates, there were no windows in the barracks, the windows were on the roof. And at night we heard a lot of commotion was going on at night. We didn't know what was taking place. You could hear the lorries or the truck engines roaring, the dogs barking, and you hear the odd shot and shouts. We got up in the morning, we opened the gates, we went out. There wasn't a single gypsy left.